Hi, Izzy. Well, that was fun. The time went just too quickly, didn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And obviously we've overrun a tiny bit, but we'll try to wrap things up now. So I hope everyone had good discussions, some great ideas.
Yep. Do you think we'll get a chance to follow this up at a later date within Cider Women, a Cider Women meeting and stuff like that? Because I'm loving the chat that was begun.
Absolutely. I do think that... hang on, let me just double check that I've got the right doc. Yes. Yeah, I think like there's great ideas already in our room, so I'd be looking forward to seeing what was in other ones. Who wants to go first from feedback?
I'm going to hand this over to Elizabeth and then leave the stage.
I'm just checking my screen share's worked. Has it?
It has.
Fab.
Looks very lovely.
Slightly nervous about mine.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to type up a little bit for as you speak, and then we'll hopefully have a nice little doc that we can share after of concrete and good ideas for moving forward, because I'm sure you had some good ones. What was in your discussion, Elizabeth?
Okay, brilliant. It came up very much the need for Cider Women as a group actually was one of the key things. It was brought up that it would be lovely if we didn't have to do this, that people were represented and acknowledged, but until that such time, having Cider Women as a group gives an online presence which gives people confidence. So the ideas were use more women's voices in interviewing, having monthly interviews, perhaps, so women interviewing other women. Barney's talked brilliantly about checking your brand analytics and reaching out to those who are missing. So making those positive changes, which reflects on what Ren was saying in the diversity session yesterday about making your marketing representative and including people the people that you want to come in, you include them in your marketing and labeling. And we were discussing the Cider Women competition that's going to happen. Gillian suggested that Cider Women Orchard Awards, more things that bring women's profiles to make them higher. That's what we came up with.
That's fantastic. Yeah, those are all great ideas. I've just been writing them down in here, and hopefully you can. Hopefully you can see that. Have we got Kath yet? Kath or Hannah from serving, selling and tasting? No, we haven't. I'll feedback from ours. We were talking about orcharding and cider production. And we did mention your fantastic presentation there, Elizabeth, because it is exactly that lack of representation, that lack of role model. Hello?
Oops.
Sorry, what's happening here? There you go. Yeah, can I carry on? Okay.
Sorry.
So that there's that lack of role models is exactly what sort of doesn't instill confidence in people who are not male to feel like they actually can do this kind of work, that physical work in orcharding and cider production. So we're looking at some practical ideas that we had. When a big aspect was just training and volunteering and mentoring and just being really explicit about welcoming women into these opportunities. And also on another practical level, reviewing your equipment, reviewing things like what are you expected to carry, are there adjustments that can be made to make stuff like that more accessible and possible for people of different sizes and strengths. And then we also discussed briefly starting a whole new clothing line for workwear for women, but that's a whole nother story, and just watch the space for that. That will be great. Shall I hand over to the other group that was discussing serving, selling, tasting, that side of this beautiful side of the word?
So what we concluded from our little session was that Firstly, education and access to education in cider is a really important point, and the fact that the sommelier qualification has now gone online is absolutely brilliant for women who have more responsibilities generally at home, and it's difficult for them to travel. So it means that people like my daughter who can't drive, she's signed up for it. I've signed up for it, which is great. So that's one of the sort of first points we took from it. The second is that because of the COVID regulations, we've discovered that women quite often feel intimidated by men in social situations vis-a-vis ordering their drinks. Quite often men may speak over the women and decide what they want to drink without the woman being asked, and the man will go to the bar. It doesn't happen all the time, but it generally in the past has happened, and it still does happen. And with the table service being provided now because of the COVID regulations, women can actually enter into that dialogue directly with the server and make their own choices with more confidence, which is actually a very positive thing that COVID's brought forward. And then the third point that came through quite strongly was it was mooted that women tend to like fruit ciders, and this ensued a great big discussion about it, in which many people said no, they don't, and I don't, and someone said I do. So people are allowed to like fruit ciders, even though maybe we're not talking about the concentrated fruit ciders, maybe the glucose wine alcopops. But some women do have a sweeter palate, and they should be encouraged to try the more traditional, the co-fermentations and a good quality, directed towards good quality fruit ciders, rather than just dismissing their taste in ciders. So that's really what more or less what we took from that session.
That's fantastic. Thanks.
Okay.
Well, we've got a little doc out of that, which we'll share for further discussion in our group for sure. And hopefully everyone's been able to have a little look what's come out: the marketing and networks, orcharding and cider production, selling selling and tasting. You can see what's on my mind. So hopefully that sort of brings us to the end, and we really should wrap up. And I'm really hopefully those breakout rooms were also a nice chance to also see a few other people face to face. Thanks to everyone who came. I'll just hand over quickly to Susanna to just wrap up for us today.
Thanks so much, Izzy. What an amazing hour we've had there, and it really is just the beginning. Lily, thank you very much for helping us and inspiring us and giving us an idea to really giving us a way to sort of look broader, work out how to make a better space. Elizabeth, thank you for so abling painting the picture of where we are. And I loved your phrase, I've said it before, reclaiming lost ground. I wanted to thank CraftCon for having us here. I'm afraid we have run out of time. We won't be able to take any questions, but we are all around, and I think Albert has been encouraging us to kind of continue these conversations later on, as has Simon, and the after show conversations are often the best. I wanted to just say a few other thanks to the bodies that have welcomed us and supported us so much. So for example, Pom Boots Across the Waves, Cloudwater invited us to their friends and family last year before COVID set in. James Finch for doing his Fine Cider Friday interviews the last month. Camera for helping, enabling, but also really beginning that education piece. Burham also for giving us a chance to share our thoughts. And then the many festivals that have invited us to be part of it. Manchester Beer and Cider Festival just being one. So I'd like to thank the whole Cider Women group on your Cider Women steering group on your behalf. I'd like to encourage anyone who wants to get into cider, do come and ask us producers. Come and find us. We'd love to see you. We'd love to welcome you. And then maybe you can come and volunteer with us during harvest. That would be wonderful. So everyone, time to say wassail, and let's head off armed with perhaps a few new ways to really redress that balance. Thank you, everyone. Here's to the future.